You think it's just a rough patch, a dry season, a strange stirring in your spirit. But what if it's not just life happening to you? What if it's divine preparation? What if the very chaos you're trying to pray away is the evidence that God is secretly getting you ready for something big? One of the first signs is divine agitation, when nothing satisfies you anymore. Not the habits, not the crowds, not the old goals you once chased. You're not lazy, and you're not crazy. Your soul is being rewired. Your prayers feel different. Your heart's cravings are changing. That's not confusion, it's calibration. God is recalibrating your desires, stripping away counterfeit callings and redirecting you toward your real purpose. Philippians 2 verse 13. You start to feel like you don't belong anywhere, because God is preparing you to carry something that doesn't come from anywhere. Then comes the isolation, not because you're unloved, but because the noise around you is too loud for you to hear heaven. Suddenly, people fade, plans crumble, doors close, but it's not rejection, it's divine redirection. God often pulls chosen ones into quiet corners before unveiling public power. Luke 5 verse 16. Moses had Midian, David had caves, Jesus had wilderness. If you feel hidden, it's not punishment, it's positioning. God doesn't hide what he's done with. He hides what he's developing. You weren't ghosted, you were hidden. And there's a difference. Hiddenness is where God builds unshakable roots. If you're feeling alone right now, it may be because God is doing something in you that can't be contaminated by public opinion. The third sign? Intense spiritual warfare, not random attacks, but targeted opposition. You've noticed the enemy doesn't come after you when you're comfortable. He comes when you're close. When you're standing on the edge of breakthrough, that's when hell starts whispering loudest. The enemy doesn't waste ammunition on people with no assignment. If you've been waking up weary, mentally exhausted, attacked in your sleep, or surrounded by unnecessary drama, it's not just stress, it's spiritual strategy. The thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy, but only where something valuable is present. John 10 verse 10. God is preparing you for elevation, and elevation always attracts opposition. Don't mistake the warfare as a sign to quit. It's confirmation to keep going. Then, there's a pattern of repeated tests. Same conversations, same delays, same frustrations, and you wonder why you keep cycling through it. But listen carefully. Cycles are clues. What you don't conquer will come back dressed in a new disguise. God will test what he intends to trust, just like he tested Abraham's willingness in Genesis 22. He's testing your obedience when it's inconvenient, your faith when nothing makes sense, and your ability to surrender what you want for what he wills. Can you still praise with a broken plan? Can you still trust when the promise looks dead? Can you lift your hands when you don't feel holy? That's the test. And then comes the divine downloads. Dreams that won't let go, visions you can't shake. Ideas too big for your budget but too real to deny. God is dropping glimpses of your future in your spirit because he's trying to prepare your mindset before he delivers your miracle. Don't ignore the whispers. Don't dismiss the nudges. You've been praying for clarity, but clarity often comes in fragments. God isn't showing you everything, you couldn't handle it. He's giving you just enough to keep walking, just enough to keep hoping, just enough to build. If you've been waking up at strange hours with a weight you can't explain, that's not insomnia, it's intercession. God is trying to birth something through you, and spiritual labor doesn't look cute. It's messy, it's lonely, it's painful, but it's necessary, because Romans 8 verse 28 doesn't promise comfort. It promises alignment. All things are working, not all things are easy. And finally, the strangest sign of all, supernatural peace in the middle of your storm. People look at you and wonder why you're not falling apart. But it's because you know deep down this isn't the end. It's the start of something holy. You can feel it even when you can't explain it. You've cried enough. You've questioned enough. You've been pressed, crushed, stretched, and still you rise. That's not coincidence. That's calling. That's preparation. God is preparing you for something big. And when God prepares you, he doesn't rush. He roots, he refines, he removes, he reorders, and then he releases. But here's your warning. Don't despise the process. Don't beg for release if you haven't surrendered to refinement. Don't ask for promotion if you're not faithful in the pruning. Because what's coming will demand more from you than what's been. So the question isn't, are you ready? The question is, will you stay ready when it costs more than you expected? Because when God is preparing you for something big, He doesn't look at your resume. He looks at your readiness. And if you're still standing, still believing, still praying, still obeying, then hear this, you're closer than you think. Don't move. Don't flinch. Don't fold. Heaven is setting the stage, and your next step may be the breakthrough you've been praying for.